And right away I'm thinking, I'm like, are we rooting for Zeon here? Like it's like the opening couple scenes of the first episode, and I'm like, what's happening? Like I'm supposed to not like these guys.
Yeah.
But I like them a lot right now.
Yeah.
I want to like them.
Yeah.
And I'm sad that they're losing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? It's weird because it's like, you don't like the overall. It's like where you like the employees, but you don't like the company.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. I'll give you that.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
100%.
Yeah, good job.
That's a perfect point.
Yeah. Okay,
Don't need to build on that at all. You just nailed it.
You did it. This could be our milk.
No milk will ever be our milk.
Dude, honestly, she was like one of my first crushes of all
No
time.
kidding,
honestly.
dude.
Miss
That Veronica Vaughn.
Veronica Vaughn.
One piece of ace.
I know from experience.
No, you don't.
No,
Well,
you
the
don't.
guy I know. And her. Got it on. Woo-wee.
No, they didn't.
No, they didn't. But you can imagine what it'd be like if they did.
All right, buddy.
Everyone on the bus? Good.
Great.
Grand. No yelling on the bus.
All right, do the clap. And welcome to Anime Shmanime.
Yo, we're back.
Yo, we're back. I'm Mikey.
I'm Jordy.
And then
I am recovering.
Senpai.
Senpai got sick recently, guys,
Yeah.
and he's recovering, so excuse him if he's a little lethargic.
He's a fucking hero and a champion.
Yes.
A little less energetic, but I'm rallying for you because I love all of you very much.
You're not going to rally for me?
No, fuck no.
Well, there's that.
That's okay. I
Jay
think
only
we're
rallies
actually
for
going to
me.
be friends this time.
Okay, yeah.
So
Jay rallies for me.
only for Mikey. It's
Only
true.
for me.
Wow.
very
I see how it
true.
is.
Yeah, his whole
I
life
really
revolves
feel
around
it over here on my own table on the other side of the room from you guys.
Yep.
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, if this is your first time tuning in, we are a bunch of dudes who love talking about anime and really trying to convince Jordy to love anime just as much as us.
Yeah, you do.
And we spoil the fuck out of everything. So
Yeah.
Everything.
beware. Be aware. Aware. Be. I don't know.
Be wary.
Be wary.
Beware.
Beware.
Beware wolves.
Wolves are cool.
Mikey
Mikey
can
could
find one. Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
This is gonna be completely off topic, but
Oh, we're going for it right now,
We're
eh?
going for it right now. Okay, but anybody listening or watching this, comment below. Do you think you could take on a lone wolf, one-on-one, like if you had like a buck knife? I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying.
He's saying you could.
If you could.
Also, though, when you comment whether or not you've actually seen a wolf in person before.
Yeah.
In front of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you can still make that claim, I want to meet you.
Yeah.
I want to shake your hand.
Yeah.
Because if you've ever seen a wolf actually in front of you,
And you still think you could
and you
beat
still
it?
think you could take it, even
Yeah.
with a buck knife, then
Yeah. Respect. Or death wish.
I was going to say, or God
Well,
rest your soul.
Yeah.
Okay, see, I think I could take one, but I would sacrifice a limb for it.
Okay.
Okay, but anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
What are we
So,
doing?
When
Oh,
did that didn't happen in this?
no.
No.
But,
Do they
no.
still have wolves?
No,
no.
probably not on the colonies.
Yeah,
and stuff.
no, they
Probably
wouldn't.
definitely not.
They wouldn't. They would only bring the animals they want.
Farm animals,
Farm
Yeah.
animals,
produce.
some
Dogs, probably.
dogs. I mean, they have hottos.
Those are robots. Those
Yeah,
are
not
robots.
animals
They're
at all.
mechanical. They don't live.
Yeah.
They're not sentient.
Yeah.
So if you guys don't know, we are doing Gundam War in the Pocket.
Yeah.
What
The
is it?
original, very first OVA
Yes.
in the Gundam franchise ever.
Yeah.
Well, was this like in 89 or something like that?
This is 1989.
Yes.
So I had a hard time coming up with a description, probably because of its originality. And Jay and I actually just talked about this earlier. The fact that, like,
You're supposed to save it for the podcast.
I know, but I'm bringing it up again.
You don't know what we talked about?
Yeah. It's just very unique in its premise and in its story, and I couldn't find something to relate it to that wasn't just itself. You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying.
I found correlations to old movies like Empire of the Sun, which is like a child in wartime in an enemy camp.
Yeah.
Problem Child also made me laugh because I was like, they kind of adopt this little kid who kind of fucks them over a bunch of times, but they also kind of love him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
No, see, this is my alternate universe to the original UC timeline. Because it's the kid, whatever the kid's name is. I can't remember the fucking names. But, yeah, it's Char and Amuro.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I saw that too.
Right? It's like...
I caught that too.
If Char was a big brother to Amuro, this is what you could get.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes and no.
They're similar in their character types.
The difference being that, so first of all, I believe it was Bernie.
Yeah.
Is his name.
Bernie, that's right, Bernie.
So I'm
What fucking name is Bernie?
First of all, it's Bernard.
yeah, it's true.
Yeah, that's a very like 70s.
I think the big difference with that was that Amuro was thrust into the 1 year war as a regular ass kid who didn't know really anything of war. Whereas Bernie knows all about the war.
Totally. He fantasizes about it.
He fantasizes hard about it. He's quite into it and quite obsessed with it, actually.
Yeah.
So like,
and they kind of make it seem like kids of his age at this time are. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of like
Absolutely.
a very prevalent thing for people to be aware of.
and it speaks to a lot of the themes that like this war has been underway now for a long period of
Yeah,
time, and you're going to get people feeling vastly different ways about it. Some kids are going to get obsessed with it. Some kids are going to be terrified at the mere mention of a Zaku or a Gundam.
Yeah.
Right?
No, but
Bernie
isn't
loves
Bernie
it.
the blonde-haired guy?
Yeah.
Wait, no, oh no, sorry, Al. Fucking
Al's the little kid.
Al's the
okay,
little
no
kid. Sorry,
fucking-
Al's the little kid.
I knew what you were talking about anyway.
I got the name. I got the name mixed up.
That's
My
all
bad.
good.
my
Yeah,
bad.
I was like,
but
you're
yeah.
gonna confuse our listeners.
Yeah. They know. They know better than us.
We're not confusing anyone here but you, Mikey. Let's be honest.
No, sorry. So yeah, Al, the younger kid. Yeah, he.
Yeah.
I didn't get a lot of Amuro off of him.
Immediately and consistently, I got that.
Yes,
Yeah.
because
From
he
what,
is
like
that.
in what ways? Like what were some of the key things?
Only thing that I would say is where Amuro gets like thrust into the war like involuntarily. Al gets like put into the war like and actively tries to like do crazy shit with Zeon.
Yeah.
Right, and Zeon spies, but he has that like still that little kiddish like. I want to do this, but oh my God, now I'm realizing the devastation of war.
Exactly.
And also he has that perspective of being in a neutral colony, right? And this is
Sure.
where I'm saying it is a very different from the original story, but it just gives me the same energy, the same vibes,
Okay.
right? Where like, Char is Bernie, right? He's that blonde haired,
that
cool.
was pretty on the
Confidence.
nose.
Yeah,
That was pretty on the nose. That one.
right?
Yeah.
And then, you just add in a little bit of like mix of, hey, big brother energy.
Yeah.
Big brother energy
It might have been-
or my older sister's boyfriend energy.
You know what it might have
That's what
been?
I got. That's what I got.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
It might have been the fact that Al was so infatuated by Zeon,
Yeah.
and Amuro's entire purpose was to defeat Zeon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hear
Like
ya.
I guess maybe that was where I just didn't.
It
have
put up
the
a wall between the two characters
kind of
for you?
mesh for me. Yeah,
Sure.
I guess I just never really got that. But the Char thing, oh my
Yeah.
God, like that's so amazingly on the nose.
Yeah.
But again, like it's that thing about them being in a neutral colony, right?
Yeah.
Where
And children.
and
You know what I
children,
mean?
and I mean a lot of people that are from that colony, like the Gundam pilot, is from the feds, right? And so like naturally you would think that these people actually probably align more with the feds if there's people that are living there that are part of the Federation, right? Because you don't really see Zeon in there as far as like building a facility to build stuff,
Right.
right?
No, they're trying to destroy Side 6.
Yeah.
Like Zeon's whole plan is to nuke it.
Yeah.
So like, but like again, like I guess that's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
like Amuro was so always like Earth Federation, like through and through, pure.
Yeah, it was
You know
less
what I
about
mean?
their allegiance and more about the energy and the fact that they're like attitudes, I guess, and like
Sure,
just
yeah.
their character traits. They're both kind of children. They're both a little naive about things. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Thrust into it, whether voluntarily or by accident.
Yeah. So while I definitely see like your guys' points and like your angles, they just didn't really hit me because
Fair enough.
living in a neutral colony and being forced into war. I mean, that's every character in Gundam.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah,
Yeah,
more
true.
or less.
Every
yeah.
single one.
True. That makes sense. They're all little Amuros.
It
guess,
is some reiteration of it. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
mostly all of the Gundams out there, not all of them, but mostly all of them are like kids, teenagers being thrust into it, like some sort of new type or.
Well, and that happens with big franchises. And again, I'll use the one I use all the time is Star Wars, but like every Star Wars is kind of Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. Yeah. You're gonna get that story over and over and over again. You know what I mean?
Good versus evil, man.
Good versus and then you have like Rebels versus Empire, right? Like it's always that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But we mentioned that too when we first did the original UC universe about how like it's essentially anime Star Wars.
Yeah, we did,
right?
And I think that's part of the reason why it's hitting for me. Right. Which, by the way, before we get too deep into it, this hits pretty good for me.
Really?
Yeah, it hit really well for me. Yeah.
Fucking right. I knew it.
See, that's so weird because I feel like it didn't hit as hard because I haven't seen this one.
Okay.
Right. So when doing the watch on this one, and I guess it's the curse of certain older anime where there's pacing issues, right? Compared to newer anime now. The story itself is pretty good, but I feel like they could have just put it all into 4 episodes instead of 6. You know what I mean?
I hear what you're saying.
Because it's a slow burn.
I didn't think 6 was long.
You thought it was a slow burn?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know why. I just felt like it was a bit like I love a good slow burn.
Yeah.
Like I love slow burn like movies or animes.
Yeah.
If there's a really good payoff. This felt like a slow burn that just was kind of unnecessary. Where if they kind of crammed in like the whole like just throw fucking Al right into it, right in episode 3 and just go gung ho, and it would have been awesome.
Interesting. To me, it watched like a film. And now, granted, I watched it in one shot, as I think you should. There's only 6 episodes.
Yeah,
you can
I did
smash
too.
It. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't find pacing issues at all, to be honest with you. But, you know, to each their own.
See, I think my issue is when I go back to older stuff. And there is some pacing issues, but I can like look past it and it doesn't affect me as much because I have the nostalgia on top of it, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess that's maybe why like I love Samurai Champloo when we did that episode, and you guys both fucked me over like so hard on it.
It's not a good show, bro.
Wow.
Yeah, fuck you guys.
You took that one really personally. Yeah.
He's carrying it with him.
We fucked him over.
Yeah, I'm holding a grudge, man.
Sorry we fucked you over so hard, Mikey.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't even know you guys anymore.
Hey, wow. We've changed, eh?
Yeah, you've changed, man.
I'll have to agree with Jordy on this one. I feel like this is super tight, especially with Gundam, which has a tendency to be incredibly long-winded.
Yeah.
And like, God, if anybody out there has watched Zeta, Double Zeta, Victory, a lot of the other ones from the 90s, even Gundam X was really fucking long. They definitely drag, and I could make that point for so many of those shows where it's like, God, this does not need to be fucking happening. We do not need a daycare episode where they're running after little kids like we got in the original.
I guess that's true.
The original trilogy, right? Whereas for this, like Jordy said, you can sit down, finish this in like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And you've got, a beginning, middle, and an end.
Yeah, it's like 3 acts almost.
Yeah. And I found like, not that I didn't really feel like it dragged. I felt like they definitely spent some time developing relationships in this that maybe, detracted from the excitement and the energy moving forward.
Because it's more of a character piece than
much more
an action piece, right?
Yeah,
100%.
I think that. Okay, so now that you say that, I think that's what I was missing because I wanted to see more of the Gundam, right? Where we only really got in the last few episodes.
And one thing I will give you is what it did is it spent a lot of time on those character developments, like the relationships, and then in the end, when you get that punch at the end, it's not a character punch, it's an action punch. You get characters reacting to the action, right? But like you're right, they built it up as this like kind of almost a drama in Act 2, and then in Act 3 they give you an action movie. So I do kind of see where you're coming from now that we've kind of hashed it out and explained it.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean? Like, can you explain that again?
So they give you a lot of character development and relationship development in the middle, but then they don't wrap those character developments and relationships up because in the end you get like a big battle. You know what I mean?
But the emotional weight of that battle only exists because of the character development they did in the middle of the movie.
That's true.
You don't give a shit that Al's running, screaming, no, stop, if you don't care deeply about all 3 of them.
Yeah.
And you don't know about all 3 of their interrelationships with each other. That's only impactful if you have that time spent.
That's true. Sorry, Mikey. Jay wins. Yeah, sorry, dude.
I see what you mean, where it's
Yeah,
like
no,
it maybe feels slightly disjointed, or like
Yeah.
like where was this action the whole rest of the movie?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I get that.
What I'm saying is you could call that a pacing issue. You know what I mean?
Yes.
In the way that it's disjointed in like,
Maybe.
I don't know. I'm trying to throw Mikey a bone here.
yeah.
Okay.
You switch seats.
Yeah, you get to be lonely.
I don't know
Jay.
if that'll change much this episode.
no, I
to be
know.
It
honest.
won't
But
actually. Yeah.
you know what it is? Well, the other thing though is I do love Gundam.
Yeah.
Right. So like, I mean, even at the end of the day, like
You're splitting
regardless,
hairs here, I think.
it's me splitting hairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because fuck, Gundam's just awesome in general.
Fair enough.
Let's be real here.
Do we, speaking of Gundam, want to get some history on
Yeah,
This
this
and
is
how
a
this fits
is
in
a
the
quick
universe?
one because
Yeah.
it's contained and it's you know what I mean. There was no manga. There was no it was just yeah. So anyways, Mobile Suit Gundam 0080 War in the Pocket is a 6-episode 1989 Japanese science fiction original video animation series. It is the first OVA series in the Gundam franchise. It was directed by Fumihiko Takayama, written by Hiroyuki Yamaga, with character designs by Haruhiko Mikimoto.
I gotta say, man, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Your pronunciation of Japanese names have gotten a lot better.
Dude,
Thank you.
I was literally thinking that exact same thought as you're pronouncing the
Thank
names.
you.
I'm not even lying. Like, thought about interrupting to say the exact same thing.
This is good. This is good practice.
Yeah.
This is good practice.
Damn, well done.
Thank
Well
you.
done,
Thank-
well done.
Thank you, guys. I'll give you all a kiss on the cheek later.
Yeah. Oh, senpai's actually being senpai.
Notice me.
Notice me, senpai. Notice
So,
me.
as suggested by its subtitle, War in the Pocket, it is a small, personal story. A side story focusing on the experiences of an 11-year-old boy during the One-Year War and his learning of the real meaning of war. A significant departure for the Gundam franchise at the time, Gundam 0080 has received wide acclaim from critics. As far as the reception and legacy, so this was actually supposed to be a 10-year anniversary celebration of the whole Gundam franchise.
Oh, wow.
Okay, interesting.
Cool.
Yeah. Although Yoshiyuki Tomino wasn't involved in the show's production, he was interviewed after it came out. This is the guy who made Gundam, Tomino. Like, he's the godfather. And he praised the director's effort to make the show realistic and focused on things other than mobile suit battles. He also commented on 2 glitches, one being the portrayal of a blue sky in the colony rather than on the other side of the cylinder, which is only about 6.4 kilometers away. He's getting wrapped up in the
I
technicality.
didn't even notice it.
Yeah.
I wish I did, because I
Yeah.
would have given you
Yeah.
guys shit about that one.
And then also the idea of there being children out during a wartime alert.
That was kind of crazy
that
to me,
is,
to be honest.
yeah.
And then Tomino thought that school resuming with combat in such close proximity was unrealistic.
Also
when a
thought
more
that.
sensible response should have been to close the school immediately and guide the children to shelters.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I just love that though, where Tomino is like sitting there being like, "Well done, well done."
But,
But
yeah, let me
and
tell
he has
you.
some
Yeah.
like poignant, specific
Yeah.
fucking things.
Yeah.
It's not just general like bullshit up his own ass. He's
Yeah.
like, no.
Yeah.
like this makes sense.
This
like,
would make it better.
You're
Yeah.
right. And imagine if he had been involved and been able to like make those little changes. Imagine how perfect it would have been. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I would. You
Yeah.
know what though? Like if he was involved and he did make those changes, because I was thinking those exact same things. I'm like, your school just got fucking blown up.
Yeah.
These kids are going in and getting fucking shells to
Yeah.
collect.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me right now?
Like it makes for some really crazy dramatic imagery.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it drives that point home. But yeah, it's not grounded in reality at
No.
all.
Well, I will say though that in some places in the world, do you know what I mean, where maybe like the government doesn't have that kind of level of control during a wartime, that could be reality. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Okay, I agree there.
Do you
but-
see what I'm saying?
But
Yep.
the thing is, you are in a neutral colony where
Exactly.
there is a government that does do that,
It's not
right?
a third world country.
Fair. Yeah.
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 I see what you're saying there. Where like,
exactly.
in like the Middle East or something, there's probably people out
Children
there
picking up
collecting
shells.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But that's
For sure.
Yeah, but yeah. So
But yeah, so that's pretty much all I got to say. I just thought it was a little
That's cool,
fun
though.
tidbit about
That's
Tomino
cool.
Yeah.
chiming in.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
I like it too. All right.
But yeah, also tons of acclaim. The Anime News Network called it one of the most emotionally powerful war stories ever animated.
It's sneaky in its emotional impact because you don't really think it's gonna be until like towards the end of Act 2, kind of. You know what I mean?
And I remember the first time I watched this, dude, I was on the edge of my seat. Like, I almost wanted to yell at my TV.
Yeah, at the end.
Right along with Al, just like, no!
Yeah.
I was so fucking worried, dude.
There were a couple of moments I'll give you for sure. Yeah.
yeah.
All right, you guys want to get into the world of Gundam because we've talked about it before, but it's worth going over once again, right? It's
been a while.
We know
been a while,
there's
yeah.
mobile suits, there's a war going on in space, there's colonies, cylindrical colonies. This also did a really good job of reminding me all that.
Yeah.
Because as we know, I forget things.
Sure.
Yes.
And they didn't do it in a janky way where like a narrator was like, "We're in the world of Gundam and there's cylindrical colonies."
Is that
in
your
space."
Dragon Ball Z recap voice?
I'm just saying in general, yes, that is like a tropey thing. You know what I mean?
Gundam Dolo.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't do that.
Specifically.
But they did it just by giving you scenes and showing you like where we're at. You know what I mean? So I appreciated that.
Yeah, because it is part of the UC timeline. It's just an offshoot story, right?
Yeah.
So
Totally.
that's good.
And again, we already kind of touched on this, but I love the fact that in this Gundam world, the emphasis of all these stories is the impact of war on normal people. You know,
Right.
that's really what this whole franchise lives to give you: is how does war affect humanity?
Yeah.
You know what I mean, on an individual level.
The small guy, like how does it
Yeah.
affecting your average
Exactly.
person?
And in this, I'm not sure if this is really something worth talking about in world, but it begs saying is that the concept of this movie, the kid who's like kind of joining the enemy. And so you're thinking, okay, we have like a Stockholm Syndrome thing going on here. But in the end, they subvert that and they give you kind of a reverse Stockholm Syndrome because in the end, it's the other guy who ends up joining your team.
Yes.
Or fighting for your team is
Yes.
just, I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I fucking love that, to be honest.
And you know what though? There are other like media out there that has a bit of that, where like people realize, oh, I'm on the wrong side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
so I feel like there is some classic storytelling there.
I'm sure you're right. I just literally couldn't think of one. It felt
Yeah.
so fresh to me, to be honest with you. It felt so fresh.
Yep.
I loved it.
That's nice.
It's worth talking about the tech for a second here, right? The only difference in tech I really noticed from things I've seen in Gundam before is we have Gundam submarines now. That was something?
No, we haven't had Gundam subs like.
I don't think I've
forever.
ever seen Gundam submarines.
You've definitely seen Gundam subs.
I've only seen the original 3 movies and Char's Counterattack.
There are subs in there.
I don't think there was any Zagox in that.
No,
I don't think so.
Oh, maybe not. I'm probably mixing up.
They
some
were
of
new
the-
to me, anyhow.
Some of the other Gundams.
All good. And then they keep talking about newer and improved Gundams and Zeon suits. And from an idiot's perspective, a guy who doesn't really care that much or know that much, they looked all the same to me. Nothing looked newer or like more exciting. I'm sure that you two probably noticed all the little differences that made these suits look better than the ones we've seen before. Is that true? Because to me, they all just looked like the same old generic Zeon and Gundam suits.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna quickly jump in. Mikey's correct. So in the original Mobile Suit Gundam, now
Yeah.
this may
Yes.
it may have been
thought so.
trimmed out because you watched the movies. I can't remember if they were actually included or not, but there were amphibious
Okay.
mobile suits.
Yeah, because there's
in
a
that
whole
original
point where they were
series.
like going upstream to get to that one area.
To get to the spawning area, like salmon.
spawning more Gundams.
Yeah.
Spawning
That's
more
how,
mobile suits.
that's how it works, right?
But yeah, no, I do think so. Like the Zaku's and stuff, all the designs are more or less the same.
Yeah.
But they're just kind of nicely more refined because the animation's better, right?
Sure.
This is 10 years after the original.
Yeah.
And I mean, even this particular Gundam is much nicer, right?
It's
the
Gun-
RX
it's the Gundam Alex
Alex
is the name.
78 RT1, I think.
So that was like not every Gundam series, but most of the Gundam series will essentially try and upgrade the Gundam to like
Yeah.
a new name, a new level, a new
Yeah.
tier.
In this,
So
they even say it's a new Gundam. It's part of the story, right? It's a
Of
brand
course.
new one, right?
So like every like show or OVA or series has their like flagship Gundam.
Okay.
And for this one, it's definitely the Alex.
Yeah.
For the first one, for the first series that we watched, the movie trilogy.
Yeah.
That's just the regular RX-78 Gundam. Like that's the
Yeah.
OG first Gundam.
Sure.
Char's Counterattack. You get the new Gundam.
Right.
New
Right?
Gundam,
Which
yes.
was like another step up. You know,
Right.
in other ones you're gonna get the the Zephyranthes, and you're gonna get
Oh my
they
gosh.
get fucking crazy. But
All right.
Yeah.
it's part of the identity, and
Yeah.
I think it's something that helps endear people to each of these. Is that if they really like that Gundam,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, then it becomes their favorite show.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, so for all you nerds like me, the RX-78 is the original. This is the RX-78 RT1. And because there's the RX-78 Mach 2, which is like a blue-black version of
You're losing
the first
me.
one.
You're losing me completely. Keep going for the
Yeah.
other people.
NT1.
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 NT1, yeah.
Yeah.
right? And this has like very similar aesthetics, but with the blue leg pieces and arm pieces that come up with like Gatling guns.
See, and
shit
that's
like
shit that I just would never notice. Like as I'm watching, I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's the same, but that's
No.
just me who doesn't notice shit. You know what I mean?
No, I don't know.
No, but that doesn't surprise me at all, though, dude, because you didn't really discern between any of the cars in Initial D.
No, you're right. Yeah,
That's also
You know what I mean?
true.
So like, why would I expect you to discern between the mobile suits? You know what I mean?
You're right.
Come on, the Panda Torino in Initial D was very iconically different because it was technically aesthetically uglier than everything
you're
else.
not wrong, but he doesn't care. That's the only thing.
yeah.
You're not wrong. You're totally. I agree fully, dude.
In all honesty,
But he
when
just
it comes,
doesn't give a shit.
When it comes
Yeah.
down to TV and movies and media in general, I'm much more interested in story, plot, characters,
Yeah.
art, and things like that. Like go over my head.
This-
Whereas when I was a kid watching Star Wars, I was discerning between the different types of TIE fighters
Yeah.
and their wing shapes
Yeah.
and what they were supposed to do within the Empire.
Yeah, that didn't bother me.
That's what I
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah.
So it's different.
yeah. Well, that's
or
cool.
you can actually look at it holistically and look at all of the pieces, story, characters, and aesthetics and design
I could.
because they're all important.
Yeah. They are. Oh, important. Thanks, Mikey. Okay, that kind of bled us into art. So,
Yeah.
like, we talked about the Gundams and the difference in the Gundams because that really is the cornerstone of the art of Gundam, right? Mobile Suit Gundam. In general, Mikey, like you said, the art was like really fucking well done in this.
Yeah.
Like everything about it was clean and nice. Obviously, it's of a time.
Yes.
But I like that, right? That original hand-drawn cells. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like that stuff impresses me when it's done well. So.
It really feels
Yeah.
like it's just on the cusp of hitting, in my opinion, like the golden age of Gundam artwork.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
like
the
for
90s.
my personal taste, right? Like you'll see eventually we get to Stardust Memory and 8th MS Team. That to me is like perfection, pinnacle, 10 out of 10. Like this is like right on the fucking doorstep now.
Yeah.
Like there's still a little bit of Char's counterattack.
This is not the doorstep yet. This is actually the steps going up to right before the doorstep.
Dude,
Because-
watching Jay's face as you're trying to explain that was gold.
Well, because
It's the steps going up to the doorstep, guys.
Can I tell what I'm saying, and then you can talk about your steps and your doorways?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let
cool.
Jay-
Okay. Cool. So to me,
Yeah.
this is right on the doorstep
Yeah.
of my ideal art style, and in some, I would argue, some scenes and maybe some key frames, pretty much nails it for what I like aesthetically out of the Gundam series. Yeah.
Okay, Mikey, explain to me now how it's the steps to
yeah.
the steps.
because so my perfection of Gundam is
Modern.
it is modern.
Yeah, because
But-
unicorn, right?
Well, Unicorn is absolutely up
Yeah.
there. Unicorn is absolutely.
I thought
but
that was your fave.
that is technically my favorite, only because of the story, more so than anything.
Okay.
But as far as like what really kind of sinks to my heart aesthetically, because I'm, a millennial and kind of grew up in this weird millennial, everything used to have wings when I was a teenager.
Oh.
Is that a millennial thing?
Say no more, dude. I know where this is going.
Right? So Gundam Wing. Okay. No, give me that reaction, Jay. You
Okay.
look.
I thought we were talking UC.
We are talking UC.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, because we're talking aesthetically, we're on art right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Right?
That's pinnacle for you.
That was the vast. Because think about it. Back in the 90s, when people wanted to get like, I'm glad I fucking didn't because it's cringe as fuck now. I'm sorry if you have this. But like when everybody had like, wanted to get like wings tattooed on their back.
Were you going to get big old Gundam wings on your back?
No, not Gundam wings.
You
but
should
like,
have, though. That would be badass.
but that was kind of like the aesthetic back then in the 90s, right? Like you had the wings,
Yeah.
that kind of dark,
I'm a dark angel.
Yeah.
dark angel kind
You
of
get like a scratch, and it's the Tasmanian devil behind the scratch marks.
right? But I mean, but like you see Gundam Wing Endless Waltz, right? Those fucking suits are badass.
Okay.
Those designs are fucking badass. I still think they're one of the best designs.
Cool.
In my opinion. But that's to me the pinnacle. But granted, the story isn't
Yeah.
the greatest. I know people harp on Wing a lot
Yeah.
because it's just a
Story's
boy.
bad.
boy band Gundam series, but
Yeah.
aesthetically,
Okay, so we got
Super cool.
the steps to the doorway. We got the steps to the steps to the doorway, and I'm across the street just looking at a nice house.
Yeah.
I just see one big old nice house.
You're like, nice.
yes.
It's pretty nice. Yeah.
Yep, pretty much.
That's where
But
I'm
yeah.
at.
But okay, now I'm gonna add just one more thing. As far as unicorn goes, because we are going to eventually do unicorn. Unicorn is definitely top tier peak as far as like I feel like the Xeon side of the aesthetics as far as suits go. Right? Like those suits are fucking badass.
Cool.
You'll like Unicorn.
I haven't seen
You
it
like
yet,
Unicorn,
so I
yeah.
don't know.
Long way to go, though. We get there, though.
We
Yes.
will. Okay, let's talk about music real quick. You have a classic blend, just like all the past Gundams, of like symphonic epicness, 80s video game sounds, and like upbeat pop-ish tunes.
Uh-huh.
It like kind of bounces back between all of those. I found they used a lot of upbeat poppy tunes when there were like really epic battles happening,
Yeah.
which always kind of throws me off. But then also I'm like, yeah, I'm into this. This is exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just building the vibe.
What's
Which
the
is
other one
funny.
we got to do too with all the crazy jazz music? I forget.
Thunderbolt.
Thunderbolt. Yeah, we got to
Yeah.
do Thunderbolt too.
Jazz Gundam?
Yeah. Yeah.
sounds
It's
sick.
like
It's
Cowboy
insane, dude.
Bebop. Yeah, Cowboy Bebop meets Gundam.
He doesn't know Cowboy Bebop.
Oh yeah, that's right, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Now, that's your fault.
That's not my fault.
Yeah, I've only watched what you told me to watch.
Well, we got to do Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, we do, you motherfucker.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, let's get into characters.
Characters. Yes.
We'll start off by talking about Al, who
Al.
I was calling Little Baby Amuro.
Yeah.
Who I always call Bernie. What the fuck is wrong with my brain?
It is kind of, Bernie is kind of like a kid's name, and Al's kind of like a man's
Right?
name.
I guess
It
that
is.
must
That is
be it.
true.
I see
Fuck.
that.
Anyways.
Alf. He's a little alien boy.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, Alf, oh my God. So I'm thinking this,
If you know that reference, you're fucking old.
a lot of young kids probably know who Alf is right now. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, what I know about Gundam is that like nothing ever is a one and done. So I'm assuming Al grows up to pilots Gundams or Xeon suits or something, and this is not the last we see of Al. Am I wrong about that?
I don't think I've ever seen
yeah,
Al in
you're-
anything else.
Really, eh?
Yeah.
That surprised me.
I honestly think this is just a one-off side story.
All right.
Like it's a nice little package that way.
Cool. One thing I'll say about Al is like I kind of wasn't sure how I'm supposed to believe that he can support Xeon so hard living in the colony with all the wars are going on. Like I thought that their shit was like elsewhere. Do you know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Like Xeon is not like the Xeon people don't live in the colonies where the
No, they have other
No,
colonies.
they have other.
That's
yeah.
what I mean. So Al being a kid who's grown up in this colony, I don't really understand. I don't really buy how he supports the enemy so hard.
Okay,
so quickly.
He only realizes they're the enemy until later on because of the war that's happening within their colony. But before that, they're privileged, neutral country that don't really know, especially as a kid,
Yeah.
the ins and out of the political war.
Okay.
right? And so he's just thinking, oh, this is a cool looking mobile suit.
Mm-hmm.
This is like these are cool looking fighters, and these are you have the Federation, you have the Xeon. They're both military, and like he's probably thinking they're both fucking cool.
Yeah.
He just happens to be like his buddy. It's like, oh yeah, check out this Xeon
Mm-hmm.
badge. Like it's a real one. It's like, oh cool. Then he just gets fixated on that, just like any other little kid would.
yeah. Fair enough.
He doesn't care about Bernie's allegiance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's just enamored with the fact that it's an actual mobile suit pilot because
Yeah.
he romanticizes war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about sides because he doesn't actually fully grasp or understand
Yeah.
the actual war and what's going on. What
sure.
the fuck is happening? He's a little kid. So
It
you're
just-
not buying it is actually you probably giving him too much credit for his age.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think also it's hard for me to comprehend the fact of like true neutrality when it comes to war times. You know what I mean? Like you'd think that the
But
place
out of ignorance, I
Yeah,
think it's totally
ignorance.
normal.
That's
Yeah.
the thing,
And that's
right?
the thing.
It's
For him,
ignorance.
it's ignorance.
Yeah,
it's
for
not.
sure.
He's not actively choosing
yeah.
to support Xeon.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? Like, or to support the
That's
enemy.
true. Yeah.
He's just choosing to indulge his obsession with war.
Yeah, I
That's
think
it.
actually like it's funny like that like misunderstanding I had kind of flavored my whole experience of watching this movie.
Really?
Because I feel like I
Wow.
felt like I was watching. What's the other team called? The non-Xeon team.
The Earth Federation.
Okay,
yeah.
so I actually thought I was watching a kid who was like probably grew up in the Earth Federation, or like at least with the propaganda of the Earth Federation, kind of like picking a different side.
Oh, because
that confused me.
Because of what's her name? What's the girl's name again?
Christina.
Chris.
Chris.
Yeah.
Because you see her uniform when she pulls it out, right?
Yeah.
So you assume. See, this is where assuming makes an ass out of you and me.
Don't be rude, Mikey. Don't be rude, Mikey. Yeah, I think I misunderstood that concept of neutrality and what it really meant in context here. To be honest with you.
Yeah, it's almost like not necessarily chosen, but like it's
Yeah.
just purely out of ignorance.
All right. Well, we'll see if I say a bunch of dumb things based on that misunderstanding going forward. Yeah. Okay. I don't really know what else to say about that kid. There's a lot that will come out as we get into the plot.
Sure.
You know what I mean? We could talk about Bernie,
Bernie.
who is, like I said earlier, definitely like my sister's boyfriend type.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not so much a brother, you know what I mean? Because
No.
at first he's like, this kid's kind of annoying, you know what I mean? But then he's like, come on, kid. Let me
Yeah,
show you
like-
something cool, kid. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah.
Like cool, older, wants to be your older. You want him to be your older brother,
Yeah.
but like too cool.
But
for
you don't have
school,
an older
but
brother,
You don't have
yeah.
an older brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I definitely also clued in. I found him like a young, inexperienced Char.
Yes.
Like that's what I thought. I was like, this is pre-Char. This
Yeah.
is like Char's origin story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the way he grows a conscience is fucking epic, dude. Because I mean, he watches all his friends die. Do you know what I mean? And then he befriends this enemy kid and girl. But I guess now I'm learning that the kid's not an enemy either, right? Which is bonkers to me that now I'm learning that all this, right? And then he lives in their world for a bit.
Well, no. So to Bernie, Al is like the enemy in a sense. Like
He's a liability.
Bernie
A
is
liability for sure.
more aware
Yeah.
of how fucked up it is that Al is like obsessing over him.
Yeah.
More than Al knows.
For sure, yeah.
Al has no idea. Bernie fully knows. Like this is kind of fucked up that this little Earth Federation kid is like
Yeah.
so obsessed with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's got to weigh on him. I think a little bit.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. It's because my team's gonna blow up the colony you live on.
We're
and all your
gonna
friends and
nuke
family
you.
are gonna die. Yeah,
Yeah.
But like, I'll show you some cool shit for now. I
yeah,
guess.
exactly. And he's so suave about it too. There's like, at first anyhow, there's like no emotional impact of that knowledge.
Right.
You know what I mean? She's just kind of like, huh? Like it's confusing to him, if anything, right?
Well, I mean, but that's the other thing that we were saying, though. It's a neutral colony. They're technically not Earth Federation, right? And they're
Yeah.
technically not Xeon, but they are space.
Yeah.
They're a space colony, so they don't really go back and forth. So anybody really technically could live there,
yeah.
right? So
Yeah. Thing is, like, there's Federation research and development bases in this
There.
colony.
Yeah.
Right. His
So,
dad
like-
works at one.
So yeah. So
Yeah.
the neutrality of the colony could maybe be called into question a little
Well, and
bit.
that's
Oh,
what
yeah,
I
I guess
mean.
that's
And
true.
I think kind of what I mean about like this kid must be leaning one way. Like,
I think the
he must
colony
be getting.
is.
That's what I'm saying, right? So it's
Yes.
strange to live in a colony that leans one way and be so oblivious and so neutral
Mm-hmm.
that it doesn't matter to you which side. You know what I mean? That's kind of felt unrealistic to me.
well,
kids
to,
get
to
romanticized.
Al,
Kids, you're right.
yeah,
Yeah.
to Al, that makes so much sense to me.
Yeah.
Being ignorant to what the politics are, like to his dad and to the adults and
True.
to
And they've
the
clearly picked
people,
sides, right? We know
Yeah.
that Chris is on a side. We know that his dad's on a side. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Yeah. So, okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
I don't have notes on Chris. I know she's an important character.
They kind of they don't really give us a lot with her.
Exactly.
She's kind of 2-dimensional in that way.
Yeah. She serves a purpose. She's a plot device more
Yes.
than anything, I think, to be honest.
Because she's not technically the MC, right? Like
Right.
she's just there as almost as the antagonist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because if the protagonist is supposed to be Bernie and Al, she's the antagonist, even though it's technically the Earth Federation that's supposed
Those
to
whole
be the good guys.
concepts are skewed in this show.
Yeah.
Protagonist,
like
antagonist,
that.
it's all skewed.
Doesn't really
Yeah.
exist in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
will say though, it is a little strange that like two grown ass human beings just befriend this little kid and just like all day, every day are hanging out with this kid. Like, that's a little strange
No, Chris-
for everyone involved.
Chris, though, is different because Chris is a family friend and known him since he was a baby.
Bernie just shows up out of
Bernie-
nowhere though.
Bernie's kind of fucked.
Yeah.
And then I guess a lot of it too, him being so young, I can kind of excuse it. Just being, because he's like, he has a heart.
Yeah.
And, maybe he does also feel like, it's my little brother now.
Yeah.
And he's kind of getting that a bit of attachment because, he doesn't want to see this kid get hurt.
He also like doesn't know anyone else around, I guess, too. So he's
Yeah.
like, what else am I gonna fucking do?
Well, I think there also has to be a little bit of concern on Bernie's part that like Al might tell somebody.
Well, that's the other thing, right?
Yeah.
Right? He is hiding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
His identity.
and that's like what Mikey said, a liability.
Liability,
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
You guys want to get into the plot?
Yes.
The
Let's
ins
give
and
her.
outs? Okay, so we got the intro to this.
Actually, sorry, before you do that, the ins and outs of our podcast are for you guys. I fucked that up.
You tried.
I tried.
Boo this man. Boo this man. Boo! Okay, go ahead now.
Okay, I fucked that one up real royally.
Please like and subscribe, guys.
Yeah, please like and subscribe. Rate us on wherever you get your podcasts. If you like our content, tell a friend.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And thanks for hanging around with
Yeah,
us.
love you guys.
Boo. Okay.
Fuck you.
Okay, so we get an intro to this like rough and tough Xeon special ops team. That's like kind of the first people we meet, right? Actually, we meet Al first, and we get an intro to the colony, but we already kind of talked about that. And this rough and tough special ops team is kind of funny because literally the way they show you they're rough and tough is because one of them is smoking, one of them is drinking, and one of them has their cockpit just covered with porn. Like, yeah, that's what rough and tough people would do, right?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's special ops, man.
Yeah.
Usually, anytime you see special ops in anything, that's always you're either gonna get one of two, right? You're either gonna get like super clean cut, everybody is assimilated and like cloned versions of each other, right? And robotic, or you get like this ragtag of like mercenary kind of people who are like all over the place, but just has all this crazy experience.
And we got ragtag.
And we got I love the ragtag more.
I like it too, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's got personality. Okay, so they show up, they're ambushing and like, quite frankly, destroying this fucking army base in the colony.
They're at this point. They're very quickly showing off some of the upgrades that Xeons had to their line of mobile suits. They're not just sending out Zaku after Zaku after Zaku. Now you've got the Camphor, you've got the Rick Dom, you've got like the big blue one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or the ones that like skate almost, that kind of like glide and hover around.
Keep describing them like that.
Right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like those are two big boy like mobile suit upgrades for Xeon side.
Blue
you guys
Boy
know,
and Skatey Boy.
Yeah, you guys know how much I love a chunker.
And exactly, and they all come back a lot in the future. And
cool.
Especially the Camphor is such a fucking awesome design.
one's that one?
The big blue
Big
one.
blue
The
guy.
Big blue.
I like the big blue one.
It's a cool one, man.
It was cool, yeah. So like the generic Gundam suits are getting wrecked by these dudes, like just getting smashed to pieces.
Yeah.
And then in the end, we find out they're like kind of on a mission, and the mission was not accomplished. And there's one Xeon casualty, one guy dies, and it's like super emotional for this crew. And right away, I'm thinking, are we rooting for Xeon here? Like it's like the opening couple scenes of the first episode, and I'm like, what's happening? Like I'm supposed to not like these guys.
Yeah.
But I like them a lot right now.
Yeah.
I want to like them.
Yeah.
And I'm sad that they're losing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? It's weird because it's like, you don't like the overall. It's like where you like the employees, but you don't like the company,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. I'll give you that.
Right? Like,
I'll give you that.
100%.
Yeah, good job.
That's a perfect point.
Yeah. Okay,
Don't need to build on that at all. You just nailed it.
You did it. Okay, so we get like an intro montage of sorts here, right? It's upbeat, happy tune, and it's like a bunch of happy scenes of life on off-world colonies. And I guess this is like kind of the ignorance is bliss factor of living in a neutral colony they're trying to show you, right? Everyone's happy, there's no problems. And then we get like the closing segment of the show, which is like scenes of families and kids playing and hanging around all the war debris, which I thought was kind of interesting way to close out every episode of the show, right? Like they're climbing on old broken down like mobile suits, right?
It's like the whole aesthetic of this like story and show is like little kids playing with wartime machines.
Totally.
Well, you even see at the end credits there, right? Like it's all pictures of these kids on them, like, and they're all black and white until the last episode, right?
That's what I'm talking about right now. That's
The
literally
end?
what I brought up here just now.
The end credit? No, I
Yeah,
thought you were
that's what I was
talking about
talking
the
about.
scene where he's like, "Oh, fuck me, man."
It's okay, dude. Your brain took
Yeah,
a break for like half a second, and that was just long enough to miss what he said.
It's all good.
Selective hearing.
And I could have just let it go. But I didn't. And so here we are. All right, so
Oh, fuck.
the next thing we find out is there's kids in school, and they're all arguing about the military prowess of various militaries, which kind of is a hallmark of active war, right? Like kids don't understand the gravity, and they kind of just focus on the glamour and excitement of it all, especially in this neutral colony where like the stakes seem like they might be lower. And they're all collecting trinkets and information and photos and trying to like, you know, I don't know, spread between each other and like show off to each other. One kid even gets kicked in the dick about it, like in one of the opening scenes. Yeah, I thought that was funny.
Good.
Another funny thought I had too, I was like, are we going to get a bunch of kids getting into mischief again? Is that where this is going? Because
Yes.
this also
Flashbacks.
this is a Gundam trope. And so, yeah, Al, or as I called him in my notes, Baby Amuro, he just misses his chance for a shot of the mobile Gundam suit at the base his dad works at because he wants to show off to all his friends. He tells them it's there, and they're like, yeah, right. And he's like, no, I swear to you, I saw it. And he can't get a picture of it. And then he gets home after that and meets an old friend who I don't even know how he knows that, like, they're just neighbors, an old babysitter maybe. Her name is Christina McKenzie. And as soon as this happens, I'm like, okay, we got Al, we got Christina McKenzie. We have the whitest names we could possibly have for this whole show, which I thought was kind of funny.
Well, they are white.
Yeah, I know. It's just kind of funny. Isn't it?
What, that the
They're all
creators
white.
and developers were
Just
considering
made a white show.
Well, actually, Al's last name is Izuruha.
Okay.
So that's.
Oh, okay. Half Japanese.
Yeah.
But Bernie is Bernard Wiseman.
Yeah. A big old Jew.
Totally.
For
yeah,
sure.
that's actually
Right?
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Okay, so
By the way, Jordy's Jewish, guys.
Yeah. By the way, Jordy's Jewish.
Jordy is
so you can
Jewish?
say-
I'm allowed.
Okay. Just wanted to get that out there. Get ahead of the game.
Yeah,
you know?
okay, good call.
Yeah.
Smart move.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so moving on. Al is at home and he's playing this like target practice video game. And his mom says something to piss him off. I don't even remember what it was. It might have been clean your room or something. And he's like, yes, mom. Ba-boom. Yes, mom. Ba-boom. And he starts blowing up his hometown in the video game.
Yes, it doesn't actually go for any of the
Yeah,
monsters.
exactly.
He just just decimates all the
Yeah.
buildings.
I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, this is the weakest supervillain origin story there's ever been. Mom wants me to clean my room, so I blow up
Fuck
my
you,
town.
Mom.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that was kind of funny, but it also is like a little foreshadowing the fact that, like, you know, he's gonna join the guy who's on the team that is gonna do what he's doing in the game. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of interesting.
But the other thing too is like we talk about how, you know, Gundam's always putting these kids into crazy situations. This is the first time we're actually really seeing, if we're going chronologically, like probably the first time we're actually seeing like little kids. Because like Amuro and Char are probably closer to 20. Like, I mean, well, Char definitely is.
But you saw like children. What is that little blonde girl?
The whole crew had a bunch of little kids.
But that's what I'm saying. This is as if we're seeing those little kids, right? Because that's how old Al is.
Yeah, this is much better than those little kids, in my opinion.
Oh
I agree.
yes,
Yeah.
I agree.
I 100%
I'm just saying. I'm just
Yeah.
saying that
It's like that.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
that you're seeing usually older kids, like
Yeah.
teenagers, like
Right.
close to being young adults. Where this one, they're like still in grade school.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Because I mean, you saw like Hathaway and Quest in Char's counterattack.
Sure.
But the story didn't focus too much on them. You know what I
No.
mean? They didn't get in. Well, Quest obviously gets into a lot of shit, but
Yeah.
like Hathaway really doesn't until much later.
Yeah.
But like so yeah, we didn't get a huge driven storyline with kids that age until now.
Yeah.
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 It's a unique take.
Very unique. I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of kids, they're all hanging around outside of school or whatever, and then there's an actual mobile suit battle just all of a sudden happening in their hometown out of nowhere. And the kids are all like, this is awesome. And they're losing their minds. And meanwhile, everyone else is like, we're all going to die. And there's like a slow-mo flyby as Al is like watching them fight, which was really, really cool. And he kind of like loses his shit and runs off to where the fucking Xeon suit crashes.
Yes.
And that's where he meets a motherfucking Bernie. And he runs right up to this guy, ballsy as hell, and goes, can I hold your gun? I'm like, what a stupid idiot.
You know what though? That is exactly what a kid would do. Honestly,
I think he's a little too old for that kind of ballsiness.
No, man. Okay, there's two types of kids.
How old is this kid? How old is Al? Do you
I
think?
don't know. He's got to be like in grade 6 or something.
Yeah.
Right? And there's the two types of kids. Kids
You're right.
that like will actually see this happen and get scared.
Yeah.
And ones that will see this and like it's surreal to them. Like,
Yeah, you're right.
yeah, and it's like cool shit. Like, I remember being a kid.
Can I hold your gun, though?
Can I hold your gun? You've played enough video games. You want to know what a gun actually feels like.
And
He's
actually,
11.
I think I have a flashback flashback from being a
Yeah.
kid and actually asking a cop if I could hold their gun. I think I
Yeah,
actually did
you
that
know,
one.
right?
He's 11 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
all right.
he's not even 12. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I would totally be that guy.
Yeah.
Also, for a kid who's like clearly this infatuated with
Yeah.
war,
Yeah.
he's obsessed with war, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
Like I don't put any of this past him.
All
I'm
right.
surprised you give him
Yeah.
you give him so much credit as though you had already decided who he was
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
the show started.
I did.
Like there's just so much more maturity to him.
You're like, yeah, I did do that.
I did do that. You're right.
You know?
Why?
I don't know. I don't know why. Why we do things the way we do.
Honestly, man. Like, how often did we play Time Crisis and like Area
0
51
times.
when we were kids?
Oh,
Like going to
yeah.
the
I guess
arcade,
you're right, yeah.
Playing with like gun games, like
Yeah.
Haunted House and like shit. Like
I think it's because of who I am and who I was as a kid. Like, there's no
Sure.
fucking way I'm asking a random war pilot who just
Yeah.
crashed in my hometown.
Yeah.
Hey, can I hold your gun?
Yeah.
I'm running away from that.
because you were raised properly. Sorry,
That's
Mom,
also
Dad.
why there's not a movie about you.
Until we write our own anime.
That's also true. Oh, shit. Foreshadow.
Yeah.
Foreshadow, guys.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, we meet Bernard Wiseman, right? And he's also kind of like overly friendly with this kid and kind of like, his thing just crashed. I almost called it a plane. His mobile suit just fucking crashed. And he's so chill. He's just like sitting there leaning back on it.
Yeah.
And he ends up trading his footage from his camera for this guy's like badge. And the footage has footage of the crash, also footage of the Gundam suit back at the base, not necessarily the suit, but like the container it's being held in, and also footage of his neighbor Chris for this guy to probably jerk off to later.
Yep.
Because he makes it seem, as soon as he sees on the shot, he's like, hey, let me see that girl again. Like, he's immediately horny for her, which I thought was funny.
Yeah.
And like I said, he gets a little, Al gets a little Xeon badge, and he's so excited to go and show his friends. We find out after this scene that because of getting that tape, Bernard gets to join that Special Forces team because they're like, oh, you provided us with this like intel. You must be like a really good soldier. Meanwhile, like, I'm not sure if he is at this time.
No.
You know, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
No.
Okay, so later on, Al sneaks out to the Crash Xeon suit like at night and ends up like sleeping in it. And on his way home in the morning, he recognizes Bernard in a car driving with his team of soldiers now on this undercover mission to go like take action on the footage that Al gave him.
Yeah, it's so
and
sick.
Instead of being like upset, he's like super stoked on it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is this kid gonna be a war criminal?
Yeah.
He just has no idea
Yeah.
what he's
Yeah.
cheering for.
He's just excited that shit's going down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
In
he's in
front
the
of
midst
him.
of it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
Not
Think
realizing that explosions could happen where he's standing at any time.
Exactly. Like you grow up in the suburbs
Yeah.
where nothing is happening for your entire life.
Yeah.
Shit is boring. You
mean where I grew up in my entire life?
Yeah, where we grew up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know?
Yeah.
So we made shit happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so it turns out he does have a conscience because he does go tell the cops and he's trying to plead his case and they're not listening to him. And he ends up, I don't even remember what he says. He's like, oh, they hit me. And he like shows them his butt crack. And the cops are like, oh, fuck, we got to get on this now.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I guess. That was so fucking strange. So
He's
they're on-
smart though. I'll give him that. He's clever.
He is. You're right. A couple times he pulls shit like that out of his ass.
Literally.
And then I can't remember the exact circumstances on how it happens, but Al ends up joining this Special Forces team as like an on the ground kind of kid, like as like a tertiary member.
Yeah, so pretty much when they go actually find them and like he's with the cop and they're going to arrest him, they were going to look at all the shit that they were building and
Yeah.
building their mobile suit and they're ready to like kill the cop.
Yeah.
That's when he like goes, "Oh, I made all this up. This is my brother."
That's right.
Right. Right.
And then they're like, "Oh, this kid's cool.
yeah.
You're one of us now, kid."
Yeah.
And then later on, they're all hanging out at Christina's house, which was also kind of strange to me because I'm like, she must know something's going on here. These weird men, the weird crazy men. No, you don't think so?
So many people probably
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
in the forces and stuff that it's just like
Yeah.
you don't
Either
know
way,
everybody.
it's pretty ballsy for them to do that. You'd
But-
think they
yeah.
would want to like lay low.
hiding in plain sight, man.
I
No,
guess so. Yeah.
With that one, what happened was because pretty much Bernie was assigned to like watch over Al because he's
Yeah.
a liability.
Totally. He's
And
the problem child.
He's the problem
He needs a
child, right?
babysitter.
And he's a babysitter. Also, he's Bernie's the rookie, putting into the special ops thing, right?
Yeah.
And so, give him busy work. Turns out Bernie was going to go creep into Al's room, which is also kind of weird and fucked up.
Yeah.
And that's when Chris
It
comes
is.
out and hits him with the baseball bat.
Yeah.
That's how they all ended up at Chris's place.
Yeah.
Right.
It's all kind of strange, to be honest with you, how it all goes down.
And then Al's all like, no, this is my brother. My mom doesn't know because, my dad had a kid when he was really young and they don't know. And
Yeah.
he comes and sees me every so often to hang out.
It's really strange. The whole thing could actually be a really funny sitcom. Al and Chris and Bernard sneaking around.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Bernard and Al sneaking around to get secrets of war, and Christina's like, you crazy kids. I think that would be funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of sneaking around, Al and Bernard go to the base to sneak around to try and get some information, and Al's like, no, I'll just go and take a picture. And he like, flies over from behind the thing, and I was like, what the fuck are you doing, man? And Bernard's like, stop that right now. And later on, the Xeon team actually gets rattled at Bernard for doing that, even though he's like, I didn't do it. And they're like, no, well, you're his babysitter, and you're supposed to stop him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This could have compromised everything.
Exactly.
But, glad it all worked out.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Which unfortunately it didn't.
Yeah.
In the end for any of those guys.
No.
But yeah, anyways, that's kind of it for that. Later on, it's Christmas.
Yes,
which was
which
also
is
nice.
Yeah, I mean, also it's a nice pick for us too, and Jay's because this was Jay's pick, right? Like it's December.
It's almost Christmas
It's
time.
It's almost Christmas.
We're getting in the
time.
spirit,
we're
do you know what I
getting in
mean?
The spirit of killing children, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah. Happy Christmas, war is over.
The
Isn't
Christmas
that what John
spirit.
Lennon said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay, so it's Christmas time. Al's talking with his school buddies, and he's legit shocked that these guys all think that Xeon's the bad guys.
Yeah.
He's like, what? No. Even more so now than ever. He's like, no, they're not bad guys. Because he's been hanging out with them,
He
right?
knows one.
Yeah, and he can't believe it. He's like, no, you guys are the ones who are wrong.
Yeah.
They're not bad guys at all. And then this dickhead girl who used to be like all pissed off at them actually like defends him and stands up for him because they're all like, no, dude, you're wrong. And she's like, no, yeah, whatever. Yeah. That's it, basically. So later on... Al later on is at the base visiting his dad, okay? And meanwhile, while this is happening, the Xeon team like shows up at the base and they're just like murdering tons of people. Tons of people, and they're trying to steal the new Gundam, I guess.
Yeah, either steal it or destroy it.
Yeah, one or the other. And Al's watching it all go down. And again, there's dead bodies being tossed around at this point. And this is like episode 3 or 4, maybe, in a 6 episode. Yeah, 4, which is like pretty intense for us to get here before shit gets crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Again, if we're watching a film, this makes sense. But for a series, it's kind of like interesting the way they've done it like that, right? Okay, so the captain of the Xeon team gets shot. And then one of the other guys, Garcia, gets shot and he sets off a bomb. The Gundam kind of blows up or something.
No,
something blows up.
It all kind of like blows the area around the Gundam up.
Yeah.
But the Gundam's fine because
That's right.
Chris ends up like getting into it to stop.
That's right.
The other dude that's in the what's that big blue mobile suit called again?
Camphor.
The
Yeah,
Camphor.
and she shoots
Yeah,
it down.
and shoots it
it's
down,
down.
yeah.
Now we realize that the whole team is dead except Al.
Yeah.
They're all dead. Except Bernard. And
Bernard,
Al
yeah.
is like shook about it, rightfully so. Finally, he's like feeling, oh, wait a minute.
This.
Oh, this is actually really intense.
Yeah.
Oh, people are dying.
Yeah.
Oh, I could die.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
All of a sudden grows up
Yeah.
a few years in a few seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah,
totally.
The reality of everything and the gravity of everything just hits all at once.
And
like
that's
a ton
what I
of
mean.
bricks.
You don't get that ton of bricks hit if he's not so blissfully ignorant
Yeah.
at the beginning of this story.
Yeah, true.
It's imperative that his character is so
Yeah.
lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just interested in war so deeply, but not really taking a side at all.
Or really understanding what he's interested in or what he's romanticizing. He truly doesn't get it.
No, you're right.
Until this very moment.
You're right.
But it's like again, like the accolades this got, one of the most amazing wartime stories ever put to film. I can't think of another even live action war movie where you saw a child have that realization in such a powerful way.
Yeah.
Except for maybe like Empire of the Sun, but
But even that is a little more playful.
Yeah.
Like that whole movie is kind of silly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a Steven Spielberg, right? And
Yeah.
it's Christian Bale's
Christian
like
Bale,
running
little
around
kid.
town getting into. Yeah.
at 12 or something.
Yeah.
Grave of the Fireflies.
I haven't seen Grave of the Fireflies.
I actually haven't either. It's on. We're covering it.
Okay, yeah.
It's on the list.
I'm gonna hold.
Are you getting aroused or something?
I was like, what was that sound? Did he like that?
Mikey just came from Grave of the Firefly. It's the fear boner. It's the fear boner.
I'm gonna.
Yeah. So, Mikey, is your arousal from Grave of the Fireflies because the fear or because the children?
You're a fucking asshole.
I'm just asking.
You're a
I just want to know the truth.
That was funny.
You're an asshole.
Funny.
All right.
Fucking jackass.
Here for your amusement.
Oh,
Okay,
my
so
God.
Al, sorry, the names are fucking me up now too, Jay.
I see. I'm not
No, you're
crazy.
right. Okay, so Bernard
Yes.
goes to report back to like his general, I guess, or whatever, and the guy is like, "Well, guess time for nukes."
Yep.
That's his response. And then he murders a commander from his own side who opposes him. There's like a coup going on, right?
Classic.
Yeah,
Classic
which was kind of cool. Wait a minute. Is this the good guys or the bad guys? Man, I'm all confused.
What do you mean?
Is
What?
this the feds or is this
Xeon.
where this is all
The
going down?
Xeon is so the main commander in Xeon took over this base.
Yeah.
Right, and killed his
Okay.
own people.
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
able
yeah,
to
yeah.
have command to shoot the nukes at the colony.
Okay, so that's his plan now.
That's his plan because
Nuke
if they didn't destroy the Gundam by midnight Christmas,
Yeah.
they were just gonna nuke the damn place, right? And so,
You guys have good brains. My brain's fucking shit.
yeah, this is why you and I have discovered the other night that you need to watch things twice.
Yeah, you're right. We did because I watched the second half of our next episode with Mikey last night, and I was like, oh, constantly. I was like, oh, one thing after another.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Anyways.
Jesus.
Okay, so Al is wandering around like a post-battle kind of town. His town is all kind of fucked up. There's rubble everywhere.
Yeah.
He's just kind of taking in all the destruction. They're literally dragging dead children out of the rubble, which is pretty intense. And yeah, he watches it as it happens, and he runs over to his school because his school got all fucked up, and he's like, all my friends are probably dead in there because he didn't go to school that day.
Yeah,
Right? And turns out the attack actually happened at night.
yeah,
And so the casualty count was low. All his friends there was like, you idiot, we weren't here.
yeah.
Like, no, this happened at night. And that's where they are picking up all the shells.
Shells and stuff like
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
which is kind of cool. Okay,
one of
so...
them's like, don't worry, I'll give you one of the shells.
Yeah, and he's like, you have no idea what I'm dealing with right now. You have no idea. Okay, so Xeon's on their way to nuke the whole fucking colony, basically. And Bernie's rattled because he couldn't take down the Gundam. And this is when he's starting to feel the impact of it all, because he's like, if I could have just taken out the Gundam, then they wouldn't be coming to nuke your whole colony. And
Yeah.
that would have been the end of it. The casualties would have been low. Do you know what I mean? And he's ready to give up.
Yeah,
He's
gonna
like, I failed.
Go
Fuck.
and run away. Go
And
to this.
Al
yeah.
gives him this impassioned speech, you know what I mean? Like, no, man, we still got to fight, you know what I mean? Which is crazy for him after just having seen like his school in rubble and dead kids, you know what I mean? This grown man is ready to give up, and this kid's like, nah, dude.
No, because the implications, and he understands, which is crazy as a child, that if they don't do this, even though it's probably a bad thing,
Yeah.
that it's the lesser of the two evils of having, Xeon nuke the damn place.
Totally.
Right? And everyone dies.
And it might just be childlike naivete or whatever that makes him able to be like, no, we got to still fight because like, we might die, but like we got to try.
Yeah.
And Al's like, and Bernard's like, well, like, I don't want to die, so I'm just going to leave instead. And I guess I failed.
yeah.
The end, which is kind of a shithead move, but it is what it is. And then Bernie pulls a classic like old Yeller move on Al. He's like, "Get out of here! I was never your friend
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah,
You
exactly.
go on, get out of here, kid, stupid kid." This is really funny.
Yeah.
And then he goes to the airport and tries to leave or whatever,
Yeah.
and he encounters this like drunk as fuck girl at the train station, which
Yeah.
made me laugh. Literally no impact on the story whatsoever, just funny.
I had never understood it.
It was
Yeah,
funny.
that was a strange scene.
Why? Why?
Like, yeah, I mean, there could have just been some self-reflection, and then it was
Yeah.
like, okay, let's go back.
yeah.
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 It was weird. And again, he starts having second thoughts, and I'm like, maybe because of the drunk girl? I don't know. Maybe it's just like a little slice of humanity he experiences it because she's on the phone with her boyfriend or whatever,
Yeah.
and he cheated on her. There's this whole story she
Yeah.
has. And I think maybe that's what they were trying to imply, but like it would have been easier to just have like two people in love at
Yeah.
the bar kissing and him realizing like, oh, this is worth saving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's either that or like it's just he was so like ignorant, or like he just pushed away all of his emotions, and seeing something like that just triggered him to then self-reflect.
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows? But anyway, I think you could have written it any which way and it would have been fine.
Yeah, I
That
liked the
one
drunk girl
scene
because it
anyway.
made me giggle.
Yeah,
There's a
fair
little bit of
enough.
levity.
Fair enough.
So, anyways, he decides he's got to go after the Gundam. And at this point, I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, still terrorism, but like altruistic terrorism. You know what I mean?
Terrorism with heart.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Which I kind of like, right? And again, his plan is to avoid casualties, which is like, okay, all right, I get you there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess, that's it. He wants to keep Zeon from attacking. That's his whole plan now. That's his motive. So he and Bernie have decided now. Sorry, Al and Bernie have decided to fix up his old Zeon suit, his mobile suit.
Zaku.
Yeah,
Zaku.
and you get another cute montage of them like stealing and pillaging and collecting
like
parts.
collecting stuff
Yeah.
and like
Working
tricking
at the car wash.
collecting
Working
parts.
at the Zaku wash.
Yeah, smiling and winking at each other. I'm totally getting sitcom vibes from that, 100%. Al pulls off another one of his bonkers moves at the Fed's car as a decoy, right? You guys are the reason my dad's dead. He's screaming at them.
Yeah, and he like gets all the sympathy.
Totally, and Al's in the background like,
Yeah, I mean, and this is what I'm saying. Al is a fucking clever little motherfucker. You do never underestimate children.
he used some real heavy war shit to his advantage there that like was
Yes.
impressive.
Yeah.
I will never underestimate children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Okay, so at this point, Al and Bernie split, and Bernie's off to execute the plan, and Al's just at home, and he has his cute little prayer, saying his prayers moment because
Yes.
it's Christmas time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dear Santa,
Yeah.
please save my friend.
Yeah.
And then his dad comes home.
Yeah.
And says like, oh no, there's no nukes. The feds don't have them.
They captured.
They
the
captured
news.
the- they
exactly.
captured
There's no
everything.
nukes anymore. That's not even a thing.
So
and
there's
Al's
no
like,
reason.
wait a minute, what?
Yeah.
He's in the car with his family. He's like, wait, what? And he books it out of the car. And this is where shit gets crazy. So he's running down the street, running at the top of his parents are like, stop. And there's like Gundam suits literally flying in the sky, blowing shit up. And he's running towards them, screaming, stop.
Hold on. Did you see? Was it 1917? The war movie
No.
came out kind of recently.
No, I didn't.
It had this oneer that was like really famous because this guy's running across this field at
Okay.
the moment everybody leaves the trenches and starts running, and he's running across.
Yeah.
As everybody's running this way.
Oh, shit.
And he's getting like clipped by guys, but he's running because it's almost the same thing. They don't need to fight.
Oh, shit.
But everybody just got sent from the trenches. So
It's too
he's
late,
running
yeah.
at it as fast as he can to get to the fucking general to say, call it off.
Yeah.
Bring everybody back in.
Yeah.
And he's running as fast as he fucking can. And I was like, when I watched that movie, it was
Yeah.
I think it was an Oscar winner.
yeah, I
I was
think so,
watching
too.
that movie. I'm like, it's fucking War in the Pocket.
Nice, amazing.
I saw this in fucking Gundam. Like, this isn't groundbreaking.
Give this the Oscar.
It was,
I mean,
it was an
that's the
amazing
thing.
scene
Yeah.
in 1917, but don't get me wrong. It was done here first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
this scene, honestly, when I think of overall Gundam top scenes, this has got to be top 5 for me. Is his run screaming to tell him to stop.
Yeah.
It,
I
it makes
think-
me cry every time, dude.
I think that's the thing with like North American movies and media is like there's so much of it that is influenced by anime, and people really don't know.
Yeah.
Right? Y'all need to I mean, I guess I don't have to preach to you guys if you're listening in on
Yeah,
this.
you already know.
You already know. Fuck.
And it's possible that's not an influence, but what you have to take into consideration is like the massive library of what anime has done is so big and impressive that even if it wasn't a direct influence, it's still like not new.
No,
know
yeah,
what I
like
mean?
it's
Yeah.
indirectly like you've referenced something that has been referencing anime.
For sure. Yeah,
Right?
for sure.
Yeah.
Another reason why this scene is so good, not just the emotions and whatever, but like you see the Gundams flying and they're huge, and you see little Al running and he's small. The perspective is amazing in this.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes in Gundam it's confusing. I don't know if you remember when we watched the first Gundams.
do.
I thought they were just regular dudes.
Human-sized exo suits. Like Iron Man suits.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Which is fucking hilarious.
But this put it
Which
into
is-
perspective.
It's
really
so
well.
funny too, especially because there's scenes where they're in the cockpit, right, sitting
Or standing on- near the cockpit.
Like
Yeah.
it's you still think it's an exosuit
For a minute there, I did.
Yeah. That's
Not
pretty
anymore.
funny.
Oh my god.
And of course, the two suits that are fighting are Chris and Bernard.
That's right.
Which they don't know they're fighting each other. They don't know each other's in the suit. Al, I'm not sure he knows it's Chris. He might have an idea, but he might not know for sure.
I can't remember.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
he I think he only realizes it's Chris when they see her being pulled from
Yeah.
Yes.
Gundam.
Yes, that's right.
That's when
Exactly.
he realizes.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, they're beating the shit out of each other. They're both taking massive blows and actually like pretty evenly matched.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is kind of cool that the two of them are kind of like an even match. They don't touch on new types barely at all. The new Gundam was built to be controlled by new types.
Yes.
They do say that. I don't think she is one, which is why they tell her she can't pilot it. But they also tell her she can't pilot it because she's a girl, more or less.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
There's
mean,
a little bit of that in this too.
It is the 80s.
Fair enough, yeah. I also forgot that these things have lightsabers. And I was like, I forgot about that. Sick.
Hell yeah.
And then it looks like there's a massive double kill. They both swipe each other or whatever, and it looks like they're both down. And Al watches it go down, and that was super emotional. Turns out Chris is still alive. Like you said, they're pulling her from the suit. Bernard is, their exact words are, "There's nothing left, sir. Just a pile of hamburger."
Yes.
That's the exact words.
Yeah.
Which was crazy and like awfully gruesome.
Yeah.
And Al hears them say it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is like, oh, that's not what you want to hear about your friend.
No.
A pile of hamburger.
Yeah. As an 11-year-old?
That's the worst
And
thing.
Al is horrified at this
Yeah.
moment. He's
Yeah.
traumatic, life-altering moment for
Completely.
him. Yeah.
Completely.
He's fucked for the rest of his life. For sure.
Guaranteed, dude.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
He's
So-
either fucked for the rest of his life or he's going to become a Gundam pilot.
Well, that's
or,
why
Or like a
At the
Xeon
beginning,
pilot.
I said that. Like,
Yeah.
I see a future for this guy in the Gundam
And
universe.
honestly,
Yeah.
I'm now that you've said that, I'm surprised we haven't seen
Yeah.
Yeah, because that would be kind of cool to see
Yeah.
like him grown up now.
like
Yeah.
a later
do-
OVA or
Maybe
Yeah.
we should write our own anime.
I'm still so down for that.
I know you are.
Yeah.
Okay, so the dust settles a little bit. We jump forward in time a little bit. Al has the Xeon badge from his first meeting with Bernard now on his hat,
Yeah.
on honoring his friend. Chris is heading back to Earth. You know what I mean? They have a nice little heartfelt chat, and she goes, say hi to Bernie, because he's like, oh, she's like busy. Bernie's busy.
Yeah,
He's been
he
busy.
didn't have the heart to tell her.
He didn't. No, he couldn't say it. And yeah, this is where I started actually suddenly realized it's very strange for these two adults to have such a close relationship with this child.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this is what it is. So Al's, like we said, an emotional mess, and he's at school, and like surprisingly, his friends are like super chill about it and super nice to him, and they're like, "No, it's okay, dude."
Another cool war will be along
Yeah.
soon. You'll
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
And,
right.
and he's just like, okay.
Yeah, because they don't know, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's funny that like no one's making fun of him for crying, because at that age,
Yeah.
I thought that would be the reaction. You know what I mean?
No,
But no,
yeah.
they're all like, "Don't worry, man, we got you.
Yeah.
It'll be good." And yeah, that's that fucking end, man.
Yeah.
That's the ending there.
Oh, man, oh, man.
Man,
What a
oh, man.
fucking banger, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a banger.
Yeah,
So, Jordy, what do you give it, man?
I gave this one an 8 out of 10. But
An 8 out of 10. Wow, good
yeah,
for
man.
you.
I had a hard time faulting it, to be honest with you. The premise was amazing. The commentary on war is like so prevalent. The perspective of the child, you know what I mean, and the neutralness and the picking sides and whatnot was just so fresh. Also, the fact that it's Star Warsy always makes me primed for something like this.
That's fair.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, because like you were saying, like before, you were trying to reference it to something else, but you couldn't. Other than to itself, which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
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 I'm very happy with an 8 out of you.
Yeah,
Very
seriously, because
happy.
like that never happens.
Well,
Not never.
actually, he gave Char's,
that's
he gave
right.
Char's counterattack a pretty fucking solid score too, just 7.5.
There you
so
go.
just
yeah.
under this. So
There you go.
And do you think that like stacks up? You think
Yeah.
this is a little bit better than Char's
For sure,
counterattack?
100%. Yeah. I like this story better. It's cleaner, and I like the fact that it's kind of a one-off, and that like Char's felt. If I had never watched the first 3 movies without seeing Char's, yeah, it probably would have been fine, but it wouldn't have got 7.5.
No,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? This, if I had watched no Gundam and just watched this, probably still getting an 8.
Awesome.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Fucking killer.
Yeah, that's sweet.
What about you, Mikey?
Me, I give this a 7.5.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
weak.
What? What are you talking about? That's a
Agreed.
solid
Pretty weak.
7.5. Say 8.
As is tradition.
That was for us though that time. I know.
Yeah, that
one
was
for
definitely
you
for
guys.
us.
Yeah.
But it's true though. The only thing that I can really it's more of like a nitpicky thing where it's like, again, I think if they made it into a movie, like an hour and a half movie, and made it a little leaner, it would have been amazing. It would hit a little bit harder for me, and if I got to see a little bit more of the Gundam, because I'm just a big fan of Gundams, right?
Yeah.
So just having seen a little bit more of that would have been really sweet. So that's why I gave it a 7.58.
Killer.
Yeah.
Killer.
Solid mid to high tier.
What about you, Jay?
I'm going 9.5.
9.5.
This is as good as Gundam gets, boys.
Yeah, I mean, it is
Period.
at the doorstep, or is it the steps? The steps to the
I don't know
doorstep?
anymore, Mikey.
Just look at the pretty house, guys.
I don't know anymore.
Just look at the pretty house with me.
All right. Well, Jordy, where can people find you?
You can find me at Reaching In on Instagram and say hello.
What about you, Jay?
At hanger.91 on Instagram or hanger91.bigcartel.com.
And you guys can find me at Shmanime Pod on TikTok or Korean Barbecue 86 on Insta, but I'll be more on TikTok. Join the Discord.
Join the Discord.
Join the Discord. I don't fuck. I'm just stumbling over my words.
But do join the Discord. It's a good time.
It is a good time. And if you can, support Never Not Kittens.
Please do.
Yes, they are a nonprofit kitten rescue. And they save lots of baby kittens. And
Incredible
kittens
work.
are
Incredible
cute.
human.
And my wife runs it. So
The best.
Yeah.
yes.
Literal best.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
We love you.
Love you.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.